We actually had a social worker from the Dove program come in and talk to our new assistants about what are the dynamics of domestic violence, to really understand why our victims come in, what they're experiencing, why they might not be cooperative. Because when you're assaulted on the street by a stranger, most people want to have justice. Most people don't have issues with coming to the police and, cooperating with the prosecution. Domestic violence cases are very different. They're very, very complicated. You have a victim who has feelings of love, might need that person for financial support. This is not the climate necessarily, many people say, to leave someone when you don't know where you're going to live. Shelters are not the best place to be. Housing is scarce. So we had somebody come in and talk about the dynamics of domestic violence, understanding victims of domestic violence, and not being judgmental. One of our philosophies, besides being in domestic violence cases, it has to be about victim safety first, is not to victim blame. So I always tell assistants, as opposed to saying to a victim, why do you stay? Because that sounds very judgmental, like, well, you're judging me for staying. I always say, why don't, the question we should be asking defendants, let's focus on the defendant's behavior, is why don't they leave? If she's such a bad person, why aren't you leaving? And you really have to get people to get around of not judging victims. One of the other things that we do in our trainings is, because we know our victims are not always going to be cooperative, we're really putting an emphasis on trying to teach our ADAs on how you try cases without a victim. Now, we all agree that homicides are important, right? We don't let murderers walk away because the victim is unavailable, the victim is dead. We can take some of those same techniques in domestic violence cases and prosecute our cases without victims. And one of the things that we've spent a lot of time doing now is making sure that our ADAs have skills and supervision to do that successfully.